Hey out there, this is Wakeangel2K1 coming at you with a new review, and this is the My Little Pony movie, Guardians of Harmony Tempest Shadow. I found her at Five Below, and given how many boxes they had there, it must have just arrived. I'm guessing it's overstock from from shipments that were intended to originally go to Toys R Us or something, because sets this size don't normally pop up in Five Below. Five Below usually just carries single figures. So the packaging is a window box, and like always, with all the accessories visible and Tempest prominently featured right up front. Although it's funny, here they show the scar on her face is on her left eye, but on the toy it's on the right. And here it's also on the right. So did they take this image, which shows a scar on the right side of her face, and just reflect it? I think that's what they did. Dude, when you make your packaging, you have to make note of whether your character has an asymmetrical design, or else you're just going to look silly. Anyway, the back of the box shows everything that it does. You have one of the Storm King's chariots. Although, look here, the missiles look like they're made of clouds or water or something, with that light blue color in the swirls. But the actual missiles that it comes with are green, which is actually a proper color for like evil magic. Like it's usually depicted as some kind of green energy, but you know, I'm just saying, like, they really changed the prototype toy, didn't they? So yeah, let's get her out of the packaging and take a look at Tempest Shadow. Here is Tempest and her chariot taken out of the packaging. A quick nitpick on Tempest is that I think her front legs are just a little bit too short. Here on this cushioned chair that I'm standing on, you can't really notice it, but if it was a flatter, more rigid surface, you kind of notice how she has a difficult time standing on all 4 feet at the same time while also maintaining posture. Just throwing that out there. But before we get into in-depth, let's get her major accessory out of the way, since it's a big one. This is, of course, the chariot, and it is kind of cool. Why is it that the bad guys' vehicles look so cool? It is, I mean, you don't forget that this is, like a chariot made for a pony toy, and you could totally just pass this off as, like, a jet. Like some kind of, yeah, it's legitimately a jet. It even has firing missiles. And they fire pretty good. Like, this is awesome. Of course, the wings fold up, and it is one of those pullback toys, so why don't we get it out onto the ground and see what it looks like on the floor. Alright, wings are folded up, so we give it a good pullback, and let it go. Yeah, pretty nice trick with the wings unfurling halfway through the drive, right? Makes it look like it's a plane taking off. Okay, so as established, the chariot by itself is a legitimately cool toy all on its own, and if you just fold this little clip in so you could forget that it ever has a rider, then yeah, just like that, you could totally just pass it off as a jet toy, and that's pretty cool. In fact, look at the internal thing here. You could totally just sit a humanoid action figure down in this seat and it would still work. Of course, the C-clip is meant to rise up so that it can caress the midsection here, and then your Tempest Shadow figure won't fall out. See? Nice firm C-clip. A lot better than the C-clip that came with the Wonderbolts vehicle. Alright, but now let's get the vehicle out of the way and talk about Tempest Shadow herself. Tempest is actually a really cool figure. First of all, you have the Storm King's emblem on her flank, and it's on both sides, so once again, she's managed to one-up the Wonderbolts. And they did indeed put the scar on just one side of her face, while the other side is unscarred. But then take a look at her broken horn. The inside of it is painted a lighter shade of pink. Like, it's, that's actually kind of gruesome if you think about it. I know, like, the actual mythological unicorn was based off of the rhinoceros, whose horn is made out of keratin, but most people interpret the horn of a unicorn as being a type of bone. So if you were to break that, the inside of it would have marrow. It would be pretty gross looking. So yeah, that actually, like, that's bone marrow painted in there. That's pretty hardcore for a My Little Pony toy. Her armor has a nice pearlescent paint job. You can see the shiny reflective effects, so it actually looks like it's made out of metal. And she has all the articulation you would expect of a pony toy. Her head can rotate side to side, as well as bob up and down. She only has swivel cut hips and a ball jointed tail that can rotate around and move out of the way. So if you were so inclined, you could have her standing upright, although it does look a little bit weird, like she has a hunchback. But then again, you know, horses don't normally do this. She has a 180-degree range, more or less, in the front knees, which also get confused as elbows. So whether you want to have her gesticulating or, you know, doing things that horses normally do when they walk, you can do that. And of course, these shoulders are universal, although in her case, you have to be careful when you fold up the arm, because the shoulder pads can clip into her neck. But if you're careful to move them around the right way, you can get a full tree pose. So articulation is pretty standard for this type of figure, but darn, it looks good. Like, it's just a fantastically well done and painted toy. It looks great. Although, like, her giant mohawk mane, every time I look at it, I can't help but think of a fin from, like, a tropical fish, like a betta. Yeah, that's kind of what I think. Are we sure that Tempest was never turned into a sea pony? Because, alright, so I guess that's pretty much all I wanted to say about the figure. I mean, she's awesome. I mean, Tempest was a pretty cool character. Then again, she kind of has what I like to call the infinite effect. She's just this big edgelord character that you put into a franchise that's normally made for really younger kids. So, you know, she's on par with Shadow or Infinite or any other of those characters. But you know what? I don't care. Comparing her to another My Little Pony villain action figure, let's bring in my my Chrysalis. I don't remember if I ever did a proper review of my Chrysalis figure. Let's do a quick mini review right here. Chrysalis has most of the same kind of articulation you'd expect to see, but she's significantly larger because she's supposed to be Celestia's size. And although her detailing is good, she does have a lightly pre-assumed pose with the one forward leg like that, and a little bit of a curved torso, if you can see. The only thing that I don't like about her is that she has a spring-loaded gimmick in her tail and in her head. This is intended to launch projectiles, which is a pain because it means that her head can't rotate normally because it's tied into the spring-loaded gimmick. And she can't do the whole standing upright, although I don't think Chrysalis specifically ever did that, so it's okay. So, yeah, so nearly as good a figure, looks just as good, good scaling, everything. The accessories that comes with are pretty nice, but I can't for the life of me remember where I put them right now, so I'm not going to search. Only problem is that a little bit of our articulation is compromised by a less than necessary gimmick. And let's bring in a Wonderbolt so that we can compare a standard pony size. So as you can see, Tempest is significantly bigger than most of the little ponies. I guess you'd call her a medium-sized pony. Yeah, but I imagine like she's a Big Mac type. She's relatively tall for a little pony. And look, there's the blank flank. Yeah, I'm glad that they didn't cheap out in the painting for her. So yep, that's my final verdict. She's an awesome figure, and she just looks like, forget all about this being a My Little Pony toy, and she just looks like some kind of badass battle unicorn. Like, you could totally just forget the fact that this is a My Little Pony toy and just get it to have, like, an armored war unicorn to, like, put something on. Because anyone who watches me on DeviantArt knows that I put my Infinite figure to ride her, and, yeah, I ship it now. Yeah, fight me. Alright, this is Wakeangel2K1 signing off.